slow one, losing late on. What were your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, very much, Stuart. And, you know, we stand here very, very disappointed. And, you know, we've got angry men in that dressing room and frustrated, you know, because I thought that they put so much into the game today. I thought throughout large periods of the game, particularly the first half hour, and long periods of the second half, we looked very, very good, you know, in terms of getting the press and the distances right. And our structure, I thought we defended from wide areas, first and foremost, stopping the ball coming into the box. And then we also defended our box well, you know, particularly well for long periods of the game today. A lot better than what we did last week. But it then comes to that killer instinct when you've got to defend it, and, you know, very, very few chances for two teams today. And we don't defend it well enough, particularly the second one. And to lose it in the way that we have, you know, is bitterly disappointing, because I felt that we did put a lot into it. I thought, as I said there, the shape throughout the game was good. I thought we looked more solid at the back. And Morton, you know, after half an hour, had then went with two players just totally wide, trying to ping Strappy and Grazzi back. And they started to make a little bit of inroads, you know, without hurting us too much, but they were getting far too much possession and territory for us. So we spoke about that at half-time. Ironed that out, get Grazzi and Strappy that little bit higher, and got the distances right. And I thought that worked really, really well for us in the second half. But, you know, throughout, beginning of, in the first half, I thought that we had a lot of energy about us. I thought there was some great wee intricate passing at times, and got us to the byline a few times without anything coming from it. You know, once you're in those areas, you've then got to get your head up and make sure that you pick someone out. And I thought that was going to be our best inroads today, to try and get in and out with what we certainly have as a forward line at that particular time in the pitch. So, as I say, we come back in there after half-time, and, you know, game very, very much in the balance. And I thought even, you know, to get back into the game as quickly as we did, that was due to, you know, that little high press. And it was great to see Hendo, you know, get his one and only chance in his strike. Slots at home very, very comfortably. And then I thought, you know, for a long period, it had 1-1 written all over it. You know, I didn't think any team was making great inroads, to be perfectly honest, Stuart. And to lose it in the way that we did, you know, I'd like to see it again. I thought there could have been a possible foul on Cammy Cooper just at the halfway line there. But it's not, and you've still got to, you know, it's no free kick because the referee's not giving it. You've still got to deal with that. We deal with the putting the ball out of a corner, and we don't deal with the corner very well at all. And that's the bitterly disappointing part of it, you know, in the way that we've conceded that second one.
If there was anything to take from it, the quick response to going behind the first time,
as I said, I thought, you know, throughout, and taking our performance from last week, particularly in the first half, I thought our shape throughout was good. I thought we looked solid, anything coming into the box. And as I said, that gives you a great platform to go and try and build upon. I know there wasn't fantastic football or that today, and, you know, we have to do better, you know, from middle to front. But we've also got to make sure from middle to front that ball sticks, that ball gives us an opportunity to come and play in that area of the pitch. And, you know, if you can take anything from the game, that's the biggest things that I would take. Not the response, and it's a great response, you know, obviously getting ourselves back into the game as quickly as we did, Stuart. But to then have that point and then it's snatched away from you in the manner and the way we did, that leaves, you know, a bitter taste in everyone's mouth tonight.
How was Lewis McGrattan? He went off at half-time.
Yeah, I just had a chat with him coming through there, and I think it's his hip flexor or something, and that was a wee bit of a sore one for us. I thought, you know, just at half-time, he was struggling, probably about 7 minutes to go just before half-time, and he managed to see it out. We addressed it at half-time to see how he was, but he was unfit to go on. And as I said, we had no hesitation putting Jake on there. It's a position that he's he's very, very comfortable in doing. And you can see at times, you know, I thought when he did come on in the second, beginning of the second half, I thought for the first 20, 25 minutes he was playing in the right areas where we wanted him. And then we put Big Greedy, you know, in there. All we've got to make sure is that when we get into those areas is that we get balls into the box. It's a wee double-edged sword here when you go with a big player. When you get into wide areas, you want balls into the box. But I also think sometimes that when you get a big player there, it's just too easy to just keep banging things up long. And that's, we've got to be mindful of that. We've got to be mindful that we've got to get good quality up there and allow us to go and play in the right area in the way that we want to go and play.
Got a free week coming up with the internationals, plenty to work on ahead of facing Queen's Park again.
Massive, still a lot to work on, Stuart. And the biggest thing for me is getting the key players that we need out in the grass and working with them. I've not had that pleasure as of yet for long periods since I've came through the door. And as I said there, you know, there's a great bunch of boys in there. They're boys with real good character, boys that really care deeply about the club, and they're hurting, you know, in terms of where we are at this moment in time. But I do stand here and I do see, you know, a performance today that wasn't fantastic on the ball, but I thought it was a very, very well organised performance defensively in open play. We've got to do better, you know, in terms of the second goal. I thought even the first goal, in terms of where we are, we could have, as the ball came back out with wee Charlie, I felt as that ball started to come back towards Morton's goal, we could have got out another 4 or 5 yards, you know, and defended a little bit higher there. But it's building that relationship in unison, you know, that the three central defenders are thinking as one. You know, whatever one's doing, the other two are doing with them. And that, you know, and we're not getting the time to do that at this moment in time.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now, Danny. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Stuart.
Lewis, another narrow defeat. Where was that game lost?
You know, I think as a 5, you know, or a 3, you would call it, we've defended our box well for massive parts of the game. You know, we tweaked it at half-time and we got up on the game more, but, you know, 2 balls into the box is probably a wee bit of responsibility now, you know, from us ourselves as a changing room. We've got to go deal with these situations better.
It means we end the first quarter without a win. How do we bounce back from that?
You know, now I think we've got a wee break, and obviously we've just got to get in and get on the pitch and work hard. You've got to forget about these games as quick as possible, and we've got to get on the pitch, get our workload in, and hopefully just get on to the next game.
You've preempted my next question there. I was going to say there's work to be done in the training ground, obviously. Does having next week off help with that, or would you rather have another game straight away?
Obviously, as a player, you want another game coming thick and fast, but I think maybe this wee break here will give us something to, you know, we can go work on if we're going to play the 3 and maybe the 4 or whatever, you know, work on the presses, who we're going to be playing against, you know. I think with that 3-game week, the games came really thick and fast, and trying to work on that next step was tough.
So it's Queen's Park next up. First time we're playing somebody that we've already played. Have we learned anything from the first game with them?
I think definitely. I think in this league, everybody knows everybody anyways, you know, there's not much out there that you don't know. So going into Queen's Park, you know, it's a good game to bounce back on, and I think the boys will be right at it.
And as for yourself, you've been in the wars again, another head knock today. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling alright. Another one to add to the collection. This one's not even healed yet, but we're on to the next one.
Right, we'll let you go then.
Thank you. Cheers.